Happy Friday to you. Welcome to Live at Lunch, Friday edition. Look out weekend, here we come. All my 80s babies should know what I'm talking about. Any of my homies from USA, from Cincinnati, know about the USA skating rink on Saturday night. You know how we used to do. But it's the weekend. We are at Friday. Some of y'all might be leaving early. So if you're tuning in with me, I appreciate you. And as you saw with my thumbnail, I watched Caitlin Clark last night make history. She passed Kelsey Klum for the all-time leading scorer in women's NCAA women's basketball. She is number one on the scoring list. Been a lot of controversy around her. Not controversy, just been a lot of talk. The controversy was with Sheryl Swoopes and her lazy statements. I tried to not defend her, but I understand the comments that Sheryl Swoopes made about, going into the league and just kind of dominating. And for that those points made sense. The problem I had with Sheryl Swoopes was she was just so lazy in what she was talking about, and like she didn't do her homework at all, and it just put her in a bad light, made her look bad, made the WNBA look bad, honestly. But nonetheless, Caitlin Clark did what she did last night. So she did. And she looked good doing it. She came out, scored the first 8 points. And she just took off from there. She was in the zone. But when she broke the record and she hit that 3-pointer from the damn logo, I was like, that's impressive. She was just in the zone all night. You know what I mean? It was her night. She should have had 50. She could have easily had 50 plus. But she does get other people involved. She did have a lot of assists. She had a double-double. She could have had a triple-double if she would have played a little lower, but that's not necessarily her game. So it is what it is. But she did have a double-double. I believe she was 2 assists away from a double-double before halftime. So she was in it. She was doing her thing. So props to her for, just putting on the show last night. Every time that girl gets on the court, she puts on the show. She is, not sure. She's got to be averaging like 30 something points right now. She's pretty much the face of the NCAA right now. And I'm talking about men and women. I was trying to think of somebody as high profile as her, and I was thinking like Caleb Williams and some of the other NFL prospects. But honestly, I don't see it. I think Caitlin Clark is the biggest recognizable star in college sports right now. She's just that big in what she's done. You can't deny it. She popping up from Steph Curry range. And I always say this: when you have somebody that moves the needle like she does, she's turning heads. And what I mean by that is she is getting people that don't watch women's basketball. She's converting people that don't really care about basketball at all. They're watching her. Very similar to what happened with the whole Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce thing. You get all of these Swifties tuning into the NFL, and they don't normally watch football. They don't care about football, but they know Taylor watches it. So basically, what you have a person, a personality that influences people outside of the norm. That's what Caitlin Clark is doing. People are watching her, very similar to what LeBron did when he came in the league, very similar to what Tiger Woods did when he started. People started watching golf that didn't give a crap about golf. They would watch golf to watch Tiger Woods play because they knew they saw something special. And he was going to be special. And he was. Same thing with LeBron's. Now, LeBron is on a whole nother level because LeBron, to come out of high school and to do what he's done and to really not have any hiccups as far as, a lot of the stuff that happens to a lot of these other guys in the media, especially now with social media, staying married, and that whole thing and what LeBron's done. But again, my point is when LeBron came out, there were people watching NBA that never really cared about the NBA. LeBron brought those eyes to the sport. Caitlin Clark is doing the same thing for women's basketball. I'm sure to a certain degree, Kelsey Plum did when she broke the record too. But I don't ever remember watching Kelsey Plum play. Clearly, she was the highest profile athlete, but she played at Washington. And honestly, if you're not from UConn, most people really don't hear about you, especially after Pat Summitt passed away, because it was UConn, it was Tennessee, those two programs, you would watch a game, UConn or Tennessee, and there would be more people at the women's game than at the men's game because of Gino Auriemma, because of Pat Summitt. They had that type of cachet with them, and they had earned it. National championships and all the players, Taurasi and all of them. And it's been a long while since you've had somebody in the women's game that captured that type of attention. Caitlin Clark is that person. Angel Reese wasn't doing that. Angel Reese just kind of helped that situation, as good as Kim Mulkey was and everything that happened when she was at Baylor, when Brittany Griner was there. And Brittany Griner really didn't move the needle like that. Nobody has. You're in a specific time period. She was the right person at the right time doing the right thing. And every time this girl steps on the court, she puts on the show. It got blown up when her and Angel Reese went into it doing the whole thing, and then Angel Reese turned that into pointing at the ring after LSU beat them. And then somehow they tried to change the narrative like Angel Reese was the bad guy, like she was the villain. And it's like, well, hold tight. Caitlin Clark started that. Caitlin Clark started doing the John Cena, you can't see me. She started that. But credit to her, she owned up to it when they talked about that after she lost the game. And she can talk the talk just like the best of them. And that's what the game needs. So now you got Caitlin Clark. Everybody's watching Caitlin Clark. But the best team is still South Carolina. The South Carolina Gamecocks are the team to beat. Dawn Staley is not playing. That Philly girl is no joke, and she got them girls together. She got, I believe, 2 6'5" players on her team. She got like 4 other players that are 6'3". She got another 2 or 3 players that are 6 foot and above. And I can't remember what the girl's name is, but don't let this girl get on the breakaway, because she will dunk on you. She will dunk on you. So right now, I'm saying all that to say, Caitlin Clark is bringing eyes to the game that haven't been on the WNBA since Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, Lobo, that whole group. When they came out, when Cheryl Swoops and all of them came out from the Olympic teams, and they still had that energy from the Olympic Games, because they captured it. Jordan, that era. So, but they didn't have social media back then. So everything was focused through the funnel of the terrestrial ESPN and all of that kind of stuff. And that's just the way that it evolved. And it has evolved now to where social media is the preferred method of watching your content, and they blowing up. And because all of the eyes, she got State Farm commercials, and I didn't even know she got a damn cereal. Did y'all know Caitlin Clark Crunch? She had a cereal that sold at Hy-Vee. I guess Hy-Vee is like a Kroger or a ShopRite, but it's out in Iowa somewhere. So she's moving the needle, man. and props to her. So, but don't think for a minute we gonna go through this whole conversation and not talk about the Birds, man. We talked about Hassan Reddick the other day, the whole thing with Debo Samuels and they got him up crying and all that kind of stuff. But we got some we signed a whole bunch of futures players, and they are filling those gaps in mighty quickly. I thought that was pretty much interesting. We just signed Julian Aquara. He played for Fangio down with the Dolphins, and it looks like the Eagles are looking at Deshaun Elliott and PJ Locke, also guys that played with Fangio at one point or another. But it looks like Fangio is getting his guys in the building, and I don't see nothing wrong with that, because defense is where we're going to have to put most of the weight and fill most of the gaps. That's what's going to require the most work. So we'll see. The combine is coming up. Everybody's doing their mock drafts and all of that kind of stuff. So a lot of room to grow and a lot of time to get things done. There is really no rush with the whole Hassan Reddick issue. The Eagles granted him permission to seek a trade. He didn't want to go anywhere. We know that. That's a business move by Howie Roseman, so he can test the market and see what the money's going to look like. And then once we find that out, we're going to figure out what we can do. Now, here's something that can be leveraged against us. This can be used against the Eagles. If no team, if they keep, offers and stuff like that under wraps, or everybody just kind of holds their ground and nobody says anything, that really puts the Eagles in a bind, because you kind of want to keep them, but you want to see what the money is. So if nobody's offering anything, you really don't know where you stand. So it can go both ways. I really want to see Hassan Reddick come back to the Eagles. Him and DeAndre Swift, two homegrown kids. I definitely want to see that. But I understand this is a business, and they got to do what they got to do. Friends are friends, and business is business. Don't confuse the two. So they got a lot of stuff that they got to work on, and we got like 20 players signed to futures deals. You know what I mean? Thomas Booker, LaRaven Clark, Shaquan Davis. I remember him, but he's a 6'5" receiver, 24 years old. I like the size. So we're going to have to make a move. It's still up in the air what's going to happen in the draft. Nobody knows what that situation is going to look like until the combine happens, because there's inevitably every year there's somebody at the combine who has a lights out workout, just going to blow it out the gym. He's going to be off the charts, and everybody's going to lose their ever-loving mind, and the whole draft order is going to change because somebody's going to show up and nobody was thinking about that person, that player. And that's going to mess up the draft status, because now, hey, we had our mind set on this guy, but wait a minute, he just showed up. Very similar to what happened last year with Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith got to Indianapolis and he jumped out the gym, and everybody was pretty much losing their mind. His speed, his agility, what he was doing. He just came from Georgia, national championship, all of that. Yeah. So there is going to be somebody else like that in the combine, and it's going to cause some people to reevaluate their pecking order. It happens every year. And once that happens, now you got to see, well, what's Chicago going to do? Are they going to sell their first pick? Are they going to take Caleb Williams? And what happens if Caleb Williams goes to the combine and throws a dud? He's just okay. Or let's say Caleb Williams works out as advertised, but there's other people that look better than he does. That could happen too. So there's a lot of room for a lot of movement when it comes to the draft this year, combine, everything that goes on with that. So there's still a lot of pieces to be made. Howie's already working. The one thing that I haven't heard, not saying that it's not happening, but now that Kellen Moore is in the building, I was kind of looking forward to hearing some reports that he sat down with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is already in the playbook, and I'm not saying that that hasn't happened yet. I'm just saying that I haven't heard anything. So, but I know Jalen is that type of dude. He's a grinder. He's somebody that you know can focus and get to work when it comes to learning the playbook. That's the one thing he has proven he's good at. You can throw a whole bunch of different playbooks at him and he can figure it out. Hopefully, we don't want to keep doing that, because after what you saw with his second year under Steichen, you saw what type of progress he made. So I want to keep that going. So I trust Kellen Moore is going to, make the best out of this situation. Jalen Hurts will get back to where he was during our Super Bowl run, and we can get some help on defense. And hopefully Vic Fangio will be as advertised. It's that simple. It's that simple. So, but yeah, that's about it, man. I just want to hang with y'all for a minute. I'm going to go fix me up some lunch. You know how we do it at Live at Lunch. I'm cutting it off early today because it's Friday. If you want to get out a little early, or if you got things to do, I understand. I just want to cook me some lunch and get back to it. I got some 3D animation I got to work on, so that should be fun. But I'm going to get up out of here. You guys enjoy your weekend. Watch some women's college basketball. It's really good. And let's get ready for March Madness. So you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you guys on Monday. But don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to continue to check out my site every day. I'm usually putting up new content. Just started using some new features. I just started using this new AI thing where I can give it some video that I record, and it creates all of the clips for me. So it saves me a lot of work. So put the stuff together, put it out at night, and I put timers on it. So I can say, hey, release this video at like 10:30 in the morning or something like that. So saves me a lot of work. But in any case, have a good weekend. Be safe. And I will holler at y'all on Monday. Peace. Go Birds.